Today's software products have grown in complexity with the continuous growth in technologies and development practices. Web pages or app interfaces, which used to be static pages, have evolved into a very rich and interactive experience. But regardless of how much had changed in the development process, the success of a website or app is still determined by one factor: how users perceive it. Are they getting value through utilization of your product? Is it simple for them to use? Do they feel pleased while interacting with the product? These are the questions that are going to determine the sentiment of users towards the website or application you develop. Alongside the answers to these questions will also ultimately determine whether your service or product moves towards success or failure. Now, to make sure your product makes a run towards success, the notion of user experience designing comes into play. Well, having said that, hello everyone, welcome to yet another video session by Intellipaat. Today with this video, we are going to explain what UX design actually is and what it's like to really be an UX designer. But before we begin, make sure to enable both the subscribe button and bell icon so that you never miss any update coming from our end. So we'll begin this session by discussing what UX designing really means. Then, to understand it better, we shall look into the practical examples of bad UX designs and good UX designs. Finally, we shall understand the UX design process towards the end of the session. I hope all of you guys are clear with the agenda. So let's move ahead and cover the first topic on our agenda, that is, what is user experience designing? User experience is how a person feels when interacting with a system. The system could be a website, a web application, or desktop software. And in modern context, it is generally denoted by some form of human-computer interaction. Now that is quite easy to understand, isn't it? But many times this concept of experience designing is really misunderstood. Many view it as a subset of UI, although both UI and UX do work in tandem, but they are both quite different. And to clear this dilemma, let me give you guys an intuitive real life scenario example. Let's say you wanna eat a bowl of cereal in morning breakfast. Now if you look at the image on your screen, you'll see the product. The product is a collection of parts. In terms of cereal, this includes the consumables such as raisins, Cheerios, bran flakes, milk and the hardware, that is milk jug, bowl, spoon, etc. All of these parts are necessary for a product to work, although technically you can eat it with your bare hands out of the box. But again, that's not a good experience, is it? No, right? Because your hands will get dirty, flour will get dirty, and you won't be able to consume milk properly, right? That's why the spoon is a very important aspect over here. Let's say the spoon is user interface. The basic definition of UI is that it is an interface to interact with the product. And in the case of our cereal example, without the right spoon, having cereal will become a difficult job. Now coming to the UX, as we mentioned earlier, it is an emotional or visceral human experience. In terms of cereal, the UX is going to be entirety of the experience, including opening the box, hearing the sound cereal makes as it falls into the bowl, the taste, texture and sound as you eat it, the crunchiness of the cereal, the size of bowl, the size of spoon, and if it holds enough stuff. That's the term user experience for you. Now here the experience already exists. That means it's not like you're developing the user experience from scratch. It already exists. Millions of people must be already eating cereal for breakfast every day. What I'm trying to tell you here is that the experience exists already for the user, and the job of UX designer is to enhance that existential experience by adding more value to the product and user interface. People do confuse UX design as we are designing what the user's experience should be, but that's not what user experience design is. There is already an experience there, and we can look at the behavior and pattern and habits of people to make their experience far better. I think this is the right formalization of the term UX or user experience designing. There are lots of factors involved with the user experience design. However, the most important ones are usefulness, usability, desirability. All other factors such as valuable, accessible, credible, findable are merely in term with these three main factors. The product needs to be useful, the product needs to be useful, it must be easy to use and desirable to be able to say that you have developed or designed a great user experience. Moving forward, let me propose a real life scenario where by referring to these three factors, we'll distinguish given product as ones with good UX and bad UX. Now consider these two coffee cups available on your screen. The purpose of both these coffee cups is the same. I mean, basically, they are there for putting coffee in them and drinking the coffee. But one has good user experience design and one has bad user experience design. Let's call this white cup on the left hand side as cup A and this glossy cup as cup B. In terms of usefulness, both the cups are quite useful, right? I mean, you can easily pour coffee inside both of them and drink it. So definitely both A and B are quite useful. Now what about usability? The cup B has a double-walled glass body with the air gap in between. So this cup is going to insulate the coffee from user's hand. Basically, the hand is going to stay cool while coffee remains hot. That's really usable and super easy to use, isn't it? On the other hand, the cup A we are talking about is made up of ceramic. So it's gonna turn hot when the steaming coffee is poured into it. Also, there is an elbow which I can hold, but the weight distribution of the cup will become difficult to hold when I hold that given elbow. So this cup is not quite actually user friendly. It's not that usable is what I mean. And then if we think about desirability, if you see both of these products on Walmart or DMart shelves or in someone else's room, which one do you think you'll be more attracted to? Which one is more appealing? Of course, the shiny, glossy looking coffee cup will take your attention instead of the normal ceramic cup, right? So again, in terms of desirability, this cup B wins. And from this analysis, you can deduce that the cup B nails all the three factors. So definitely it's a good user experience and the ceramic one is ordinary and bad UX since it fails at many factors. Alright. I hope you have the bright picture of what user experience designing really means by now. Moving forward, let's look into more good and bad user experience examples in terms of commercial products to gauge the importance of user experience designing in a proper business environment. The first bad user experience example we have here is Netflix Hoverplay feature. Netflix has the best UI when it comes to the streaming service market. It's totally a point of reference for all the competition out there. However, that doesn't mean that they have got everything right. One example is Netflix autoplay previews feature. When users navigate to Netflix homepage, the preview for a movie or TV show featured at the top of the screen starts playing automatically. When users hover over the other thumbnails for other movies and TV shows, that appears further down the page. Trailers for those titles autoplay as well. This makes it impossible to access information about a given title without triggering a loud video preview. The business goal of the feature is to get users to engage with Netflix content by grabbing their attention. However, the feature is also disruptive and annoying, forcing users to watch parts of trailers for titles they have no interest in just because they accidentally hovered over them for too long. While Netflix might argue the feature helps users discover content they wouldn't otherwise because it's push on user, it doesn't lend itself to a positive user experience. Many Netflix users detest the autoplay previews feature. So Netflix finally created a setting that enables users to turn it off. I mean, that's the impact of one small feature can cause when it comes to UI. Another example from the same industry is Amazon Prime Video's home screen. Few weeks back, Amazon Prime Video changed their home screen interface after getting a lot of criticism from daily consumers. It was a challenge to find movies and TV shows on the streamer, much less to figure out what was free to Prime members and what cost an additional fee or what is available for rent out, because everything was just put up there bluntly. However, after lots of criticism, the company finally rolled out a completely new user interface that makes navigation through Prime Video's offerings far more intuitive. The redesign includes a set of small vertical icons to navigate to major sections of the service on the left side. It also includes a large carousel at the top of the page highlighting the service's newest offering and the series of smaller carousels of thumbnails identifying movies and shows that users might be interested in. These thumbnails come with titles specific to Prime towards the top and titles that users must pay to watch available further down. Much of Prime's redesigned interface is reminiscent of other popular streaming service, that is Netflix itself. Now, next, let me give you few examples of good user experience designs. Classic example of good UX is the landing page of Google search engine. No matter what you think of Google as a company, its search landing page is a triumph of minimalistic user experience. Its main focus is a large text entry box in the middle of the page surrounded by white space. While search was Google's original product, the interface has barely changed in last 25 years. Outside of additional product and information links at the top and bottom of the page, this is because Google got it right the first time. The landing page does exactly what users need it to: perform a web search. Other search engines include additional information like news and personalized widgets on their landing pages. However, this pulls users' attention away from the reason they navigated to a search engine to begin with. Google doesn't make that mistake. Google's search landing page lets users focus on searching without any distraction. It's a fantastic example of a user experience where less is really better. Another example I'd really like to put forward is Apple's web page design. Apple is known for creating devices that are not only beautiful to look at but easy to use, and that extends to the company's website as well. One of the website's most hyped about feature in user experience industry is its compare feature. Whether a user is on a computer or a mobile device, the experience is the same. After a user navigates to a product grouping such as iPhones or iPads, the secondary navigation at the top of the page includes a compare option that, when selected, brings users to a page that presents a side-by-side comparison of the 2 or 3 most recent product models. This method anticipates that most users will compare the company's latest offerings. This is a reasonable assumption, and its UX accommodates as many users as it can as seamlessly as possible. However, it's also extremely easy to compare other models by selecting one of the drop-downs at the top of each of the product columns and choosing a different option. The information is organized in an easy-to-scan hierarchy. The base price and buy buttons are at the top of each column, followed by a quick look at the most essential product specs and more technical information further down the page. As users scroll, the name of each product stays anchored to the top of each column, ensuring users won't forget which specs belong to which product. The product comparison page is an excellent example of a user experience that genuinely helps users. For expensive technical products, comparison shopping can be especially valuable, and Apple enables users to do so quickly and efficiently. Not only does this create a user experience that's enjoyable to use, but it also helps reassure customers that when they select the buy button, they have made the right choice for them. On that note, let's hop on to the final topic for today's session, that is understanding the UX design process. Basically, guys, UX design process is going to be the bread and butter for UX designer. You can view them as tasks that the UX designer professional will have to perform over the course of project. The first step is empathize. Here, you will try and understand the problem which your or client solution aims to solve. This exploration begins with defining the problem statement and its scope. Once that is done, you'll be able to understand the consumer base and their pain points. If the website or service is already existential, designers can identify issues that users are having with the current design. The next phase will be validating findings of analysis against real-time UX research. Based on the initial problem assessment, designers create questionnaires for the targeted audience and conduct the on-site interviews. Later, findings of these research surveys will be implemented to develop products that resonate with the consumers. Another stage of UX designing is ideation. Here, you'll do sketching and low fidelity prototyping. With a clear understanding of their users, market, and competitive landscape, designers can start the ideation phase. Designers use paper and pen during early ideation to iterate on many ideas fast. First, they'll sketch their interface ideas and then will convert them into digital wireframes to test user flows and information architecture. Next stage is high fidelity mockups and prototypes. The UI design team next converts digital wireframes into mockups to build high fidelity prototypes that look and function like a final product. If the company has a design system, designers will use the UI component library to build interactive prototypes which can be tested with the help of real-time consumers afterwards. Following that, prototype functionality implementation will take place. Here, the tech people jump onto the rope and develop prototypes out of UI frameworks and user flow wireframes provided by the designers. Development team builds backend functionality first and connects it with the UI when they get design artifacts. Next stage is evaluation or testing. Here, the product will be exposed to the client and some of the customers to get holistic feedback and determine if the product is pleasant or not. If there are some pinching factors, the product will be reiterated to the wireframing and mockup test, and then the final product will be developed. This is how a standard UX project goes through the development process. However, it is not necessary that your project will always follow these steps in order. The order might change depending upon the practice, organization, or individual put to use. However, roughly, these are the stages that basically every practice will have in them. Having said that, let me tell you a little bit about how it feels to be a UX designer. One thing for sure, guys, being a UX designer is an exciting and dynamic job that requires a unique combination of creative and analytical skills. It's a role that requires you to put yourself in the shoes of the user, understand their needs and desires, and create digital products that meet and exceed their expectations. As a UX designer, you'll be working on projects that have a significant impact on people's lives. Whether it's designing a website that helps people find the information they need or creating an app that simplifies a complex task, you'll be part of a team that includes developers, project managers, and other designers all working together to create a product that is both functional and visually appealing. One of the best parts of being UX designer is the opportunity to be creative. You'll be able to use your imagination to come up with new and innovative ideas for how to solve design problems, and you'll have the freedom to experiment with different design techniques and approaches. At the same time, being a UX designer is also a highly analytical job. You'll need to be able to gather and interpret data from user research and testing to inform your design decisions. You'll need to be able to identify patterns and trends in user behavior and use that information to create designs that are intuitive and user friendly. Being a UX designer is also a fast paced job that requires you to be adaptable and flexible. You'll be working on multiple projects at once, each with its own unique challenges and requirements. You'll need to be able to pivot quickly between projects and be comfortable with constantly learning and adapting to new technologies and design trends. Ultimately, being a UX designer is a rewarding job that allows you to use your creativity and analytical skills to make a real impact on the world. It's a role that requires passion, dedication, and a genuine desire to make products that are not only beautiful but also functional and user friendly. That's all we had for this session today. I hope this session was informative for all of you guys out there. Thanks for being here till the end of this video. If you have liked this video, do make sure to hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to Intellipaat YouTube channel. Goodbye till the next time.
Just a quick info, guys. If you want to make a career in UI UX design, then Intellipaat provides an advanced certification in UI UX design strategy. It is taught by IIT Guwahati professors and industry experts with more than 10 years of experience. This course is designed to upskill and land your dream job.